What if I told you that sleeping more is the ticket to you gaining more muscle? I know it sounds counterintuitive, but a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on the training, the diet, and they neglect the third part of the puzzle, recovery. So if you give me 5 minutes, I'm gonna give you my foolproof strategy to unlock better sleep and more gains. More rest, more gains, quite a combination. The first key point is understanding the mindset behind getting more sleep and more rest. So your body's primary time for growth in terms of muscle is when you're asleep. That's when all the other systems in your body are shut down, you're relaxing, your body's recovering and repairing. So all the work you do at the gym, all the food you eat in the kitchen feeds into the muscles and helps them grow and recover overnight when they're at rest. That means if you're not getting enough sleep, particularly REM sleep, then your body doesn't have enough time to recover and is not feeding your muscles and helping them grow efficiently. Now, I'm not gonna be super scientific with this because too much science never really helps anybody. I'm gonna give you a basic fundamental breakdown of how it all works, just so you understand that you can apply it and get results. Because that's all that really matters, right? You don't need to know the ins and outs of the science. Basically, when you sleep, your body recovers and fuels your muscles and helps them grow. When you're not getting enough sleep, your body doesn't have time to efficiently do this. So if you're only getting 6 hours of sleep a night, you're robbing yourself of 2 extra hours of sleep and growth. So we need to fix that. And these are the actionable steps you can take to do that. Step number 1 involves caffeine. And this is a big one for people that go to the gym. You shouldn't be ingesting caffeine after about 12 or 1 o'clock. Lunchtime, that is, obviously not midnight. That's because caffeine has a half-life of 6 hours. So that means 6 hours after you ingest caffeine, half of it is still active in your system. If you have too much caffeine in your system, this prevents your body going into REM sleep. And REM sleep is where most of your recovery and therefore growth happens. So if you've got too much caffeine in your system, even if you can still sleep, you're not getting restful recovery sleep. So cut out caffeine before 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock if you can. Now, I know a lot of people train in the afternoons and the evenings and they like to take pre-workout before they go. So maybe you can't do this one. That's what the other steps are for. Step 2 is more of a timing thing. We wanna make sure we're in bed asleep for at least 8 hours. And when I say asleep, I mean asleep. I don't mean go to bed at 10, as in get into bed at 10 and then wake up at 6, because you won't have slept for 8 hours. You've probably spent half an hour falling asleep, another half an hour waking up. You've only slept for 7 hours. For adequate growth and recovery, you need those full 8 hours. So that might mean going to bed an hour earlier. Trust me, it will pay off for you in the long run. Sleep is gold when it comes to building muscle. Step 3, remove all artificial stimulation in terms of blue light. So you don't want to be scrolling your phone right before you go to bed. You don't want to be playing video games right before you go to bed. Anything that's overly mentally stimulating and has too much blue light is going to keep you awake. It's going to keep your brain synapses firing. It won't let you sleep, at least not properly. So you want to cut that stuff out at least an hour before bed. 4, eating and drinking. We want to restrict this to the middle hours of the day. So we don't want to be eating or drinking too much right before we go to sleep. Eating too much because your body's still going to be digesting and keeping you awake with digestion. Drinking too much because you're going to wake up in the middle of the night, need to go to the bathroom, and that just completely fucks your sleep, cuts it down the middle. So keep eating and drinking to about 2 hours before you go to bed. Now you might be wondering, Mike, I'm not allowed to scroll my phone, I'm not allowed to play video games, I'm not allowed to watch TV before bed. What am I supposed to do? Treat this as like your wind down time. Maybe read a book, maybe chat to someone. Cool yourself down, reflect on the day. There are plenty of things you can do that don't involve overstimulating your brain and forcing you to stay awake for longer than you need to. The 5th and final stage is to be consistent with it. You're not gonna fix your sleep overnight, and therefore you're not gonna unlock the extra growth and muscle development that extra sleep gives you. This is something you need to practice over weeks and months, and ideally your life. But the thing is, if you develop this practice, it's gonna be unbelievably beneficial for you. It's difficult at first, I know, but trust me, those effects compound. You're gonna see how much more recovered you feel. You're gonna see how much more developed your muscles are. You're also gonna see how much better you feel, because trust me, life looks a lot better when you've had enough sleep versus when you haven't. Bit of a different video for you today. If you enjoyed that and you want more sleep-specific advice, let me know in the comments. Sleep, recovery, and rest are a huge part of training that a lot of people neglect. It's something that I've tried to prioritize, and it's paid off in leaps and bounds for me. If you found some value in this, subscribe. I'm trying to provide some training, nutrition, fitness, life value almost every day. Thank you for your time, and I will see you in the next one.